Hello,
30 seconds until
people.
minions spawn.
I am Alex Hetu. I'm the systems designer, commonly known as Gasty. I'm joined with Dale Dowd, our wonderful map designer, and we have a little bit of a treat for you guys on today's community catch-up. So what we are going to be looking at today is we're going to be looking at something very early in development. This is kind of a test to see how you guys like this. We're going to be trying to show you guys some very, very early stuff we're working on. So this is content
Minions
which
have
isn't
spawned.
really going to be releasing for probably at least a month, if not more. It's pretty far out, but we want to kind of start opening up a dialogue with the community, start talking to you guys about the direction we're going so that we can get feedback and potentially make any changes early, because it's easier for us to change things early than it is late. So this will be, yeah, sorry, I have not adjusted the game volume. Let me turn that down for you guys. Change settings. All right, that should be better. So the focus of today's discussion is going to be the new map. And by new map, I mean it's the current map, but we're making some adjustments to it. We've been in beta for a while now, several months. When did we start? When did beta happen? Was it May?
Jeez, I don't know.
May or June, sometime around there, right? So it's been a while, and it's been on this lovely map, the map which I am flying around here now, the map that you guys have all been playing on and have come to know and love. So during the last several months, we've been collecting lots of feedback from both internally and from the community, and we have heard a lot of very consistent feedback with the, oh, that's right. Haha. Let's switch over so you can actually see what I'm talking about, right? I'm so good at this. There we go. So, like I was saying, this is the current map that you guys have been playing on, right? It's the map you guys have come to know and love, and there's been some issues with it. So, what I'm going to do, this is kind of the preliminary kind of schedule for today's exciting adventure. I'm going to highlight some of the current issues with the current map that we've identified internally, talk about that a little bit, and then I'm going to turn it over to Dale here. I'm getting over the tail end of the cold, so I might cough at you guys. That's an added treat. We're going to be looking at the revisions we're making to the current map and talk about why we think some of the revisions we're making should help solve some of those issues, and then open it up to kind of a Q&A discussion about what you guys would like to see, how you guys feel about the changes, anything else you want to see changed. So here's kind of some of the issues. Issue number one with the current map is, or where we kind of started when we were kind of addressing the map redesign, was really focused on the laning. So one of the issues with lanes right now is they're very, very short, which we found to be restricting for melee shapers. One of the issues with melee bros was ranged could zone them very, very easily just by hanging out right around where I am now, right? You hang right behind your minion line. If a melee engages on you, you're about 2 inches away from the tower region here. Very, very safe. So in order for melees to actually engage on people inside these lanes, you basically had to be pushed up all the way up here in order for melees to be effective. One of our learnings was that melees really needed about this much distance, about between here and here, in order to have enough time to effectively engage, because they needed to initiate on a character and then have enough of a time or enough of a distance to chase them down. So one of the issues with melee laning viability was, unless they're really, really bursty, like Petrus or Freya, they really just did not have the length of lane they needed to effectively all-in people, which is one of the kind of main ways that melees are effective in lane. So that's one of the issues we were looking at. One of the other issues is the lanes themselves are identical. As you see, they're just inverse. You have this like 3-brush patch up top. You have a 3-brush patch on the bottom. And this created it so that there was really not a strong incentive for you to take any particular composition to any particular lane. It was basically you zone into a lane and you'd go top or bottom, kind of randomly based on who goes where, right? Your teammate's like, I'm going bot, and you're like, okay, well, I guess I'm going top. So what we wanted was we wanted to introduce a little bit more strategic variety in selecting where you're going to lane, right? Make it so that there's actually some map variance between top and bottom lane that says, hey, now that there's distinctions between them, certain shapers are stronger in certain environments, so certain shapers are going to be stronger in the top lane versus the bottom lane. So introducing that kind of asymmetry between the lanes themselves was something we wanted to do for that reason. It should also help give a little bit more of a understanding of who you're going to be laning against, which should help for initial item selection and spell selection. Because once it gets kind of developed that, oh, certain types of characters go top versus bottom, it'll help with that. Now, one of the kind of important caveats here is that it's still very important to us that the lanes remain as symmetrical as possible in terms of team side. So we're not talking about a mortal or spirit distinction, but in the this way kind of symmetry, it should still be roughly identical. However, in just kind of the vertical symmetry, it should be different, that we're breaking it in that way, not the horizontal symmetry. So that is one of the other issues we want to address. So we've got lane length for melee viability so far, and we've got the lane kind of differentiating the lanes from one another to introduce more map variety in team selection. One of the other kind of issues that we've ran into, which a large amount of you guys have pointed out to us as something which is certainly sad, is this fun experience here where you're like, what up, Parasite? You're not doing anything. Let's turn on God mode here. Let's you know, this is level 5 Nisa standard power curve. What I'm demonstrating right here is a big problem right now, right? If you have vision on the Parasite with the way that it is set up right now, it will basically not attack you because it's out of line of sight, you're out of its attack range, right? So if you have sufficient DPS, which you can get to with endgame builds, you will be able to basically kill it without it hurting you at all. It's pretty exploity, right? It's gameplay that we don't really like. So there were ways that we could resolve this on the current map. We could adjust the behavior of the Parasite, make him attack over that wall, give him an ability that pulls you in, right, etc. But this was something that we felt was more appropriately fixed via a map iteration. Because in addition to fixing this kind of exploit area, we also wanted to improve the fight here as well. There's a couple issues, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have experienced fighting the Parasite. One of the issues is, hey, he has a variety of abilities that make you dodge, right? However, you have almost no room to dodge. You have basically just this section I'm walking back and forth in. So it really limits kind of the design options we have with the Parasite abilities, because we want to introduce a lot of kind of fun encounters where you're having to dodge, you know, not standing in fire, etc. However, there's not too much space to do that. So we wanted to add some more space, position it so that there is more kind of room to interact with the Parasite's gameplay. Additionally, his tanking is proximity based, which means that if you want to switch tanks, it's actually pretty difficult because melee have no choice but to be right here. So you only have the choice of basically 1 or 2 melees being tanks. You're not able to really switch tanks very easily. So those are kind of our 3 Parasite issues. We have the delightful, just straight up bug, right, of being able to attack him over this wall and out-damage his regen. We have the inability to effectively dodge things, and we have the difficulty in changing tanks. So those are some of the issues we're looking to fix with the Parasite Alcove. Now, to recap for people just tuning in, the kind of agenda for today is we're going to talk about the current map, and then an upcoming revision of the current map, which we're going to be showing you here in just a little bit, and how that current map is going to be hopefully solving some of the issues that I'm highlighting right now. And these are the issues we're actively looking to solve with the game currently, and then we'll be open to we'll have a dialogue with the Twitch chat afterwards to talk about any other issues that we may have not addressed. Okay, I've just been informed by our lovely community manager that we're going to be dropping a 500 use beta key after this whole shindig is done. So stick around for a beta key into the Dawn Gate if you are interested. Now, moving right along, If you're a jungler in Dongate, something you may have noticed is the extreme importance of controlling these buffs in terms of your experience gain. Thank you. One of the issues is that the buffs give a really disproportionately large amount of experience towards the jungler, which means that if you counter jungle a buff here, such as this wonderful Mushroom Man, then what you're going to do is you're going to basically be in a great position, and the enemy's going to be really, really far behind. And that gameplay is something that we really enjoy. We want to maintain that counterplay and the focus on buffs. However, what we've seen is people basically completely ignoring these smaller camps, saying that they're just not worth it, right? There's too many of them, their rewards are too small, and it's actually more efficient just to beeline between, hey, you know, take the blue, take the orange, counter jungle their green, and then swing by the money pigs, and then by that point you can just like keep doing a buff rotation, basically with major objective camps, right? You never need to focus on the smaller jungle camps, you can just always hit the main ones. So something that we're looking to do in the map revision basically is to say, hey, let's adjust the jungle a little bit to try to make it so that it's a little bit more incentivized to also clear these small camps if you really want to focus on farming and pulling ahead. Since there's a bunch of new viewers that just tuned in, so I'll just do a quick reiteration. This is the Dongate, right? It's a game made by Waystone Games. We're a brand new studio being published by EA to try to kind of give our thought process and our spin on the MOBA genre. There's a variety of new mechanics with this game. There's these spirit wells, right, which serve as kind of StarCraft-style economy nodes, etc. There's a variety of new features. I'm not going to go all into them right now because it's not really necessarily the focus of this very specific session. But one of the things here at Waystone Games that we value very, very closely, right, if you're a new viewer or new to kind of Waystone Games or Dongate in general, is we take interacting with the community really seriously. We think that, I mean, we're making the game for you guys, right? So we want to, who knows what you guys like more than you guys, right? So what we're doing here is kind of an example of what we're looking to do more and more going forward, which is being very, very open. So we're going to show you guys kind of our thought process, what's happening internally with our state of the beta right now, and where we're going. So that's what kind of this is for. This is saying, hey, we've let you guys play the beta for a couple months. We've heard some feedback. We're trying to make changes internally. Instead of waiting until those changes are perfect, like 3 or 4 months from now, let's talk about them right now. So that's what we're doing right now. It's kind of part of our, hey, let's be really open with the community and really transparent. So, small jungle camps. Basically, our plan here is we want to try to reduce a little bit of the number of camps and increase the rewards. One of the issues right now is that there's so many individual camp locations that their rewards have to be distributed across all of the camps, making each individual reward too small. If we just increase the rewards straight up, the issue is a single really quick jungler like Volek has too many locations. He can basically farm all of them really quickly and he pulls ahead. Some of you guys may have experienced this in the early parts of the beta where junglers were like level 7, where laners were like level 3, right? We want to prevent that scenario again. So we don't want to just buff experience, or basically adjust experience only in numbers with the current jungle setup, because that could lead to that scenario. So we feel the solution is kind of a combination of numerical changes as well as camp placement. The other kind of big ticket item that we're looking at, and after this we'll go into the new map, so not too much longer here, is the kind of sense of game progression, right? So right now you have your 3 bindings, and then you have the Guardian fight with his wonderful leaf tiara. So one of the issues was the 3 bindings are relatively easy to take down, all things considered. I mean, they're pretty beefy, but they're, in comparison to the Guardian, they go down pretty quick. So what we were seeing is we were seeing kind of an uneven just feeling of progression throughout the game, where there was this problem of, hey, we, within the first 15 minutes we can take down all 3 bindings, and then it's like hitting a brick wall, right? You have pretty consistent progression between all the bindings going down, but then you hit the Guardian and it's like, okay, well now it's like another 20 minutes just sieging the Guardian, right? It's a really kind of problematic sense of progression that stems from the Guardian's too difficult to kill early. It feels appropriate in like 40 minutes games, but at 15 minutes, the Guardian's just as hard as it is at 40 minutes, right? So that's at 15 minutes, it's almost like impossible to take. So you can kill bindings really quickly, you hit the Guardian, and it's a little bit too difficult. So we're looking to smooth out that curve. Sorry, we're looking to smooth out that curve a little bit so that it's a little bit more even, allowing for the Guardian to be killed appropriately early if a team's really far ahead. If a team's like 15-1, right, they should be able to close out the game. So there's that aspect of, hey, the Guardian's too hard to kill early, and then there's also really late game sieges where basically the Guardian feels appropriate in difficulty then, but he's still a little bit hard to kill in like 40-minute games if the enemy team's turtling a lot, because with only 2 lanes, there's just not enough minions pouring in to really effectively pressure the Guardian and force people to stay in their lanes. So we're looking to add a little bit more pressure into the Guardian in those late game stages to allow for games to be able to be closed out more effectively. So those are kind of some of our big ticket issues we're looking to address with the current iteration of Dawngate's primary map, which is our 2-lane map here with 4 economy Spirit Well objectives, 3 jungle sections, hopefully allowing for multiple different compositions, including double junglers and so forth. So, without further ado, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hide the screen, because I can't show you guys all the other secrets with our internal build. Haha! And then we're going to switch over into our new map version, and I'm going to hand it off to Dale here to drive the keyboard and kind of talk about how our current map iteration is trying to solve some of the issues that I just talked about here. Now, one of the really important caveats here before I switch it over into kind of one of the newer map revisions is this is very, very early. If you're not familiar with game development, there is a process. Whoa. Nope. Never mind. When you muted your microphone, it confused me. So
Sorry.
there's a process in game development where we are focusing almost exclusively on the layout of the map right now. So what you're going to see is you're going to see it in a non-arted state. This is basically very, very early. This is kind of an example of what internal game development on a game like this is like. So you're going to see a map which the art is clearly in progress and unfinished. So take that in mind, right? Obviously, when it is getting ready for completion and release, it'll be at an art level even higher than our current map, most likely, based on some of the very cool things that Dale's been working on, which I'm sure he will talk to you about in just a second. So, making sure this is working here. Selecting my wonderful map explorer, Nisa.
Take pride in your skill, but find joy in death.
Alright, so I'm going to switch it back over to the game cam and then hand it over to Dale.
Hey, all. Alright. So, I'm going to caveat this to you. I don't like doing these things, and I'm very nervous, so I'll do my best. Anyways, so I'm going to start with the lane stuff Alex was talking about earlier. So, a couple of the major changes was the length and width, and also the brush placement. I wasn't happy with the brush on this side of the lane, because when you were trying to escape, the tower seemed miles away. So
30 seconds until
part of the thing too was making them longer so we could actually get in them from the tower, but also escape to our tower much easier. And then what else did we talk about, Alex? We talked about...
So, yeah, I mean, this was to the map length, which Dale just talked about, is kind of our kind of one of our solutions to trying to help just the laning experience in general. Melee viability gets improved. You get a little bit more sense of zone control. It allows for more strategic play with minion line kind of control, freezing lanes, etc. The other aspect of the lanes that we talked about was the differentiation between top and bottom lanes. So if you want, you can take kind of a closer look at kind of the section around bottom, and then take a look at top to look at how we've differentiated those.
Right.
So you can see here as he's running around, we've made pretty significant changes to the layout across both the jungle and the lanes. You can kind of take a look at the minimap for a little bit more spoilers. The map itself has actually been slightly increased in size. What's the total map size increase here, Dale?
Probably 3 to 5% in a uniform scale, and then almost basically a screen width in length.
Right. So we've increased the total size a little bit. Then we basically cut it straight down the middle and pushed it out a little bit to get that lane length increase.
So the river's you can kind of tell here, the river's quite a bit bigger, or the mid lane of the map is quite a bit bigger across the whole thing.
So now if you want to take a look at the top lane here, top lane's jungle entrances and exits. Oh, no. Hit main cam.
Sorry.
Haha! We discovered a keyboard shortcut for doing something delightful. Go to game cam, sorry. Technical difficulties because we have no idea what we're doing here.
Guys.
This is you know, we don't usually run this show, so bear with us. But you can see in top lane here, if you want to look at the kind of the top area, we have the jungle entrances and exits to the lane are very different. And you want to talk to kind of the safety of this lane versus bottom lane?
Right. So basically down here, there's all these different ways you can get ganked from. You kind of get ganked from basically 7 or 8 different entrances. And up here, I limited it to basically here, 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 and here early game. You can still get caught around this way, but the opposing jungler is going to have to put themselves in major danger here to go gank from here versus here where they have a super easy escape and walk around and in here. So basically, the stress level and safety of this lane is quite a bit better than bot, or quite a bit different than bot. And plus, this particular block here is pretty wide. You can't even kill sheep across it. So you could safely sit in here and harass, or be a melee shaper and wait for your the opposing gladiator or whoever to get out of position and jump them, and not worry about being ganked from this back part, from the backside.
Yeah, so the top lane is certainly going to be a much kind of safer area, and this was one of the ways we wanted to differentiate top and bottom from a gameplay standpoint, was so that we can it opens up a little bit more strategic variety in sense of now 1v2 lanes or solo lanes are a little bit easier to pull off, and both teams are going to have a little bit more kind of expectation for where people are going to go, right? If you see 2 junglers with like a Fenmore, for example, chances are it's going to be a solo Fenmore top lane. Gives you a little bit of kind of predictability to help in matchup kind of setup, right? Now you can do things like, oh, okay, I can expect that to be the setup. Now I can maybe start with an item like a Will to help mitigate, you know, Fenmore's damage because I know I'm going to be laning against them. So just to reiterate it, since I see some people in chat mentioning it, this is an example of something which is very, very early. The map does not have anywhere close to finalized art. You can see are just like clear brown and blue texture paths, right? Are examples of just very, very early kind of white boxed, just quick and dirty level layout so that we can just iterate on the layout itself. The art is still very much in progress, and you can even see us experimenting with some of the art stuff. I see some people in the chat talking about the verticality that you've been experimenting with the bridges and stuff. If you want to talk about that for a second.
Yeah, I just when we split the map down the middle, we basically opened up so much more negative space that I started to want to play with verticality and see how far we could push it without screwing up gameplay, really, and having it getting in the way. So it's been fun to goof off with that. I'm not sure how Art feels about it, but it's been a lot of fun, and hopefully making the environment a little bit more immersive compared to, I guess, hopefully any other MOBA. You know, want it to look pretty cool, immersive environment. So that's one thing I've been playing with.
Yep.
And then also, you know, Fog of War over these gaps and kind of clarifying it and making it read better than it was before as well.
Very cool. Yeah, once the art is finalized on the map, I'm personally super excited for it because I think those kind of elements are going to make it really, really stand out and are very cool looking.
One polishy change I can talk about actually is here. One thing I don't like on the current map is these little alcoves right behind the tower, they're very tight and routing and not routing friendly. So one thing I did was basically open up and widen this part quite a bit more. So it's just a better early game experience and better just, you know, quality of life around the towers. So that's helped a lot as well.
Yep. As a reminder, in addition to the big multi-use key we're planning on dropping at the end of this experience, we're also right now currently silently giving out keys to people in the channel, but only if you're following the channel. So if you're not following us, please follow our channel. We really would appreciate it, and then you can have the chance of being rewarded with a beta key. Pluto in the background here is giving out keys silently, so make sure you're following the channel and for your chance to get a beta key.
Knives out.
So moving along, that kind of talks about our adjustments to the lane. In addition to just the laning section right here, have there been any adjustments to kind of the other entrances and exits to the lanes made via just changes to the jungle?
Yeah. Well, can you elaborate for me?
So
I can give you a better answer.
there is. There were sections of the jungle previously, just like by the tier 2 and tier 3 bindings, that we've just changed. So if you want, you can do a quick fly through of kind of the jungle.
Like these guys?
Yeah, right. Just the jungle entrances and kind of if we changed them, how we changed them.
Yeah. One of the biggest changes, actually, this is for Gisato. One thing I wasn't super happy with was the routing between buffs. So I spent a decent amount of time, and you can kind of see the routing on the minimap, is to make sure that the routing was as straight and as simple as possible if you just auto route. And I also wanted to keep the jungler on the back line in the mid lane so they didn't route up and through back into here like they do right now on this map. So if you go from buff to buff, you're going to actually take a very straight, simple path from buff to buff on your side, of course. And then also the mid here, this jungle seems to get lots of team fighting, so I opened up quite a few of the areas. So in here, widened them and made them more team fight friendly and also routing friendly. Like this one, I straightened the path a bit from lane to lane, and hopefully relieve some of these like extreme curves that that players had to take to get into the mid.
Yep, so because we definitely had heard some feedback that the jungle felt a little bit tight, a little constricted, made you go out of your way in certain areas to kind of just path around. So players should notice on the new map revision significantly improved just kind of pathfinding, in the sense that your character should generally not do 180s nearly as they did in some of the weird areas in the previous map. Pathing is a little bit more efficient. You're able to get from major objectives to major objectives without feeling like you're going out of your way too much. So.
And yes, there's some stuff about brush being reduced. Yes, brush has been reduced quite a bit, mostly in the mid jungle. I felt like it seemed like you can see about 4 patches of brush per screen, so I reduced it and just kind of kept the ones that were getting the most play on the map, and also experimenting with some too, like little backdoor paths and pieces where you can escape through. So we're still working on that. Like, this is still pretty iterative and early, so.
Yep. So just as a reminder for current viewers, please hold the questions until the end, just because we're trying to kind of do a quick kind of overview so that players are kind of exposed to all the changes and we can talk about all of them kind of cohesively. So we're going to have time for Q&A at the end here coming up. So if you're asking a question and it's not getting answered, don't worry, we will address it very shortly. Maybe, that's right. Maybe we'll withhold it secretly. In addition, for new viewers to the stream, if you scroll down, there is a frequently asked questions section on the stream that Pluto behind me here wrote up. So please read the frequently asked questions. There's some answers in there to some of the questions I see going along in the chat. So want to show the Parasite area and talk about the changes we've made there and why?
Okay, so Parasite, I personally was not a fan of any of the team fights that happened in Parasite on the last map. The escaping team always generally split up, and the team fights in there were just horrifying. So basically what I did is tilted this a bit, actually rotated the walls just slightly to so we had a basic flow, quality of life improvement to player and team flow in. So I added a team fight area to either side, placed him back in the middle to remove like the wall hacks that Alex had talked about, and generally just opened up the area to improve the team fighting and escapes or engages in there. One cool side effect that actually happened too was the warding strategy changed behind these particular islands, because junglers can now route through this area and behind and avoid any of the other team wards and put themselves in a better gankable position. But yeah, the Parasite Pit and area has just been greatly increased, maybe even 100% so.
Yeah, there's definitely much more playable region there, and this is really, in addition to fixing some of the exploits, improved the gameplay experience like Dale was talking about. The fight itself is just far more enjoyable and cool to experience now, because now the players are 360 degrees around him. His abilities have a lot more room to just fire, so you'll see certain areas will be covered in fire, the whole raid will kind of have to swap to the other side of him, right? And then his like orb launching ability into phase 2 or phase 3 is more kind of, has more oomph to it, since it's now firing basically in a 360 degree cone as opposed to only in a small line. And tank aggro is certainly much easier to bounce between. So it's the fighting experience all across the board with Parasite should be significantly improved here. And like Dale said, we've also kind of adjusted the surrounding area to make warding a little bit more strategic and, of course, increase pathing usability.
And we still got our dashable walls where you could steal and hide and so on and so forth, like the other one. It's just a little bit more dangerous to go in and try to steal it.
Right.
Which actually I think is better, because Zero stole buff too many times for me.
Yep. So since I'm seeing an additional influx here of new users to the stream, I want to give a quick 2-second kind of overview of what we're talking about here. First of all, this is a brand new MOBA in a very, very early closed beta developed by us. We are Waystone Games. This is our first project here. We are being published by EA, but we are developing it entirely within Waystone. So as a result, we have kind of full creative control over it. It'll be 100% free to play. We are vehemently against pay to win, so there will be nothing like that in the game ever. We can guarantee you that. The game itself, we're trying to develop with the community very, very openly. It's why you're seeing experiences like what we're doing now, where we're showing you in progress, in development work, talking about it very early, getting feedback, making changes. The game itself has a lot of unique differentiating factors. I encourage you guys to stick around, get a key, try it out, give us your thoughts. Basically, our itemization system is completely different than Dota or LoL. We don't use combinatorics. The map itself is only 2 lanes. We have StarCraft-style economy objectives, which serve to force team fights, as well as kind of serve the denying aspect, where you can directly impact your opponent's economy by shutting down spirit wells, which is what Dale has on the screen here. With these generate workers that mine money for your entire team. You can raid your opponent's worker line, wipe them out, get your own money, right? One of the other aspects about Dawn-Gate is that we have no mana in Dawn-Gate. There is quite a bit of resource characters, like the character that Dale's playing right now, Nisa, you can see has that orange bar, which is her focus resource. There is a variety of resources, however, there is no mana. All her resources are quickly regenerating, similar to energy, so action occurs much more frequently. The average game time is between 25 and 30 minutes. The objective of the game is to destroy your opponent's Guardian. If you want to take a look at a Guardian real quick. Guardians are like these giant monsters in your base, which they're kind of like a raid encounter. They will defend themselves. They have a variety of abilities they will use, and defeating it ends the game. So there's quite a few unique factors. One of the other unique factors is in Shaper selection, you select a role which determines how your character plays. So any character can be a jungler. Any character can be a support, depending on what role you play. So it's another one of the kind of core differentiating features. TLDR, please play the game, join the beta, give us your feedback. What we're doing right now is we're going over a map revision to the current map on beta based on the feedback we've gotten from the community. So that's kind of the TLDR of what's going on right now. Do you have colorblind mode? You'll see that the game is already naturally colorblind safe with all of our health bars and everything, so we're trying to not have to have a colorblind mode. However, that's one of the things where if you're in the beta, you are colorblind, you have an issue, please let us know. All right, so continuing along, I think the next topic of choice was the jungle camps. So you can see we've removed some of the jungle camps. If you want to talk about which ones we've removed here.
Yeah. So basically, one of my favorites actually was back here, because I would just invade and get free XP. But to keep the jungler closer to the lane, I removed it, got rid of that one to make the fish area a little bit different from the Ugger area. And we normalized, well, at least we didn't normalize it, I take that back. We put 3, we went to the buff and 2 camps for a bit. And then, why did we re-add the mushroom? I can't remember right now.
So basically we wanted to make sure that there was enough camps to be able to support 2 junglers, because double jungle is something that is definitely important to us. But we wanted to basically lower the number of camps a little bit so that we could boost the individual reward of smaller camps up and make sure that they were competitive with larger buff camps. So counter jungling a small camp now is going to be worth more to you. You're going to have more options to do it. We've removed 2 camps total per side, I believe. So we removed 1 of the mushroom camps, 1 of the fish camps. The reason for that was the fish camp that we removed was, like Dale said, good for counter jungling, but pretty much only good for counter jungling because it was so far out of your way that you would. Sorry, somebody came over and was talking to us. The fish camp was so far out of its way that you really felt like you had to want to go there specifically, and because it wasn't a buff camp, you didn't really have any reason to go there unless you were counter jungling. So it resulted in it just not really being taken that much. The mushroom camp that we removed for a couple reasons. One, it opened up that area to allow for better routing, and we can introduce another path if you want to show like the bridge path that the users saw earlier. It allows us to open it up to allow for this, which really helped in terms of preventing this entire entrance into the lane from being negated by a single ward, like Dale talked about earlier. So it gave us the freedom to introduce a little bit more warding complexity and gank options into the bottom lane. And in addition, it made the kind of jungle route through the middle a little bit clearer. You can see that the 3 camps in the middle section now, basically, you can just draw a line through them, which works really nicely in terms of being able to do a full jungle clear from top to bottom without feeling like you have to go far out of your way. So hopefully with this revision, we'll be able to see smaller camps will be worth a little bit more. Buffs will still be far more important. However, if you really want to focus on just getting ahead, it should be advantageous to farm the small camps now, whereas before they were a little bit underrepresented in their risk versus reward.
And it'll also make it a little easier to tune.
Yes, yeah, for sure. So one of the other aspects that we changed was we have added some additional bindings and increased the size of the base area pretty significantly. The kind of, like I was saying before, one of the goals here was to smooth out this progression curve. So the bindings by the Guardian are significantly harder than tier 3 bindings. If you're able to destroy the tier 4 binding, it will put a pretty significant amount of pressure onto your opponent. We have moved some of the hit points from the Guardian into those bindings. So the Guardian itself is actually much weaker than it was before, but while those bindings are up, it is stronger. But when you destroy one of those bindings, which is difficult, then the Guardian should be a little bit easier to assault. Additionally, the Guardian now has scaling hit points throughout the course of the game, starting in about 10 minutes, so he actually will get a little bit stronger as the game goes on. This was done so that for those really, really early games where a team has a really, really severe advantage, right? They're 10-1 or 15-1 and they're like crushed a lane. If you actually push the Guardian very, very early, it'll be a little bit weaker early, allowing for early push comps and early plays to actually pay off. Before, having a game that was a team comp based around really trying to end the game early wasn't really that feasible because the Guardian had 20 billion hit points and designed for 40-minute, end game, and it was hard to take down. Now it'll still reach that point, but it does it linearly over time, so early pushes should be able to be a little bit more effective. You want to talk about kind of the layout changes we made to the section in general?
I mean, the layout changes are pretty simple. I opened up this area just for better routing, but also basically opened up this whole wedge just for better team fighting. I felt it was just too small, too compact, too claustrophobic in the base. around these areas, and then the base is significantly bigger. Part of that's to help the defenders, actually. It seems when you're attacking this, it's quite a commitment to actually go in here, and you really don't have anything to dash over to escape or just quickly pinch point the other team, so on and so forth. So it's more about the team fights in here, and improving those guys with just basically opening it up.
Yep, so right now, and this is subject to change, so I caveat this with what you're seeing right now is in very, very early development and is subject to change before launch. In fact, that is why we're doing this, so that we can get your guys' feedback, talk through our changes, and make necessary changes based on your guys' feedback before we actually launch. Right now, Tier 4 bindings, when they're destroyed, cause lanes to spawn a Siege Strider in addition to the regular Strider, which puts significantly more pressure onto the Guardian. It's basically a ranged version of the Strider, so that if a Tier 4 binding is down, that the Guardian is significantly more pressured than previously. It behaves just like a regular Tier 4 Strider, except that it has a different empowerment and it is ranged. The purpose there being, before, when all bindings were destroyed, the defending team could leave their base without too much worry, and the Guardian would defend itself. We wanted, when all the bindings were destroyed, for the defending team to be far more pressured, opening up opportunities for the team that's in the position that's ahead to actually have map control. So this should provide a little bit more kind of incentive for defending teams to actually truly defend their Guardian when they're in a really, really bad scenario. To answer some of the questions of the chat, this map is 5v5. The map you're seeing right now is extremely early, which is why it has almost no art on it. The map on live right now, if you're not in the beta right now, the map that's in the live beta is similar to this map in the sense that it's 2 lanes and with 4 Spirit Wells. It's completely arted, so the live map has full art. This map does not. This map has very, very little art. It's very, very early in development.
Super blocking.
Yep, so do not think of this as our art target goal, because this is basically no art at all and purely just kind of design iteration. We'll be doing a full art pass on it and continuing to iterate on it before we release it, and our release timeline on this is to be determined. We do not have a hard date. Basically, we're gonna launch it when it's ready, but it is not going to be super immediate. It's at least probably a month plus out. So those are kind of the core ticket items with the map that we wanted to address. So we wanted to, kind of the summary here is we wanted to extend the lanes for melee viability, differentiate top and bottom lanes for team comp versatility, reduce some of the jungle camps so that we can make the individual jungle camps worth a little bit more experience, so that farming versus ganking is a little bit more even, and smoothing out the counter jungling curve. Open up the Parasite Pit, reduce exploits there, make that fight more fun, make routing around it a little bit simpler. Updated all the jungle paths themselves to take you out of your way less often, a little bit more efficient. We added additional bindings to smooth the progression curve throughout the entire course of the game. Getting a Tier 4 binding should feel very, very impactful and open up the Guardian to being a little bit more susceptible, and early game pushes can actually end the game now if executed appropriately. So, a little bit of a large information dump for you there, which I apologize, but at this point, anything else you want to talk about before we open it up to Q&A?
I don't think so.
All right, so, and remember guys, we are giving away keys silently in the channel if you're following the channel, so please be following the channel. In addition, we're going to be dropping a multi-use key at the end of this shindig. So, if you have a question, please put Q: ahead of it. That helps us parse the chat for questions, and we will start talking about some of the things that you guys want to talk about now. So question, why are StarCraft 2 style miners in a MOBA game? Make it easier for newcomers, or not focus on last hitting or anything else? We wanted to introduce the concept of these workers for a couple reasons. One, it allows for individual players to help kind of carry their teammates. I'm sure we've all been in MOBAs before, right? We understand how sometimes difficult it can be when you're in a team game. This allows the individual, a single individual, to have a pretty big impact on the game. If you do a clutch play, sneak back into enemy territory, wipe out their worker line, or even capture the Spirit Well so it starts generating workers for your team, the workers generate global money for your team, so all of your teammates benefit from a single player's kind of pro play. It also makes it a little bit more exciting from a spectator experience. We wanted to have kind of the cool aspect that denying had in Dota, in the sense that it allows you to directly influence your opponent's economy negatively. You can actually hurt your opponent's economy generation. That was a cool concept, but we wanted to do it in a way that was a little bit more intuitive. So instead of killing your own minions, you're killing the minions that your workers use or your enemy uses to generate money. So this gives us kind of the denying gameplay that we found was cool strategically, in a way that we find to be a little bit more intuitive, in the sense that they're still enemy minions, and they're enemy minions that are mining your enemy team global money, wipe them out. Your economy of your opponent has been hurt pretty severely. So those are kind of the reasons behind our Spirit Well introductions. Question, when are the betas? And can I have a beta key? You can have a beta key if you get selected randomly in the chat, and if you're following the channel. In addition, make sure you're ready to put on the multi-use key when we drop it later. Right now, our beta is only on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're on 3 days a week right now. The reason why we're not on 24/7 is because we want to make sure that we're responsible in terms of making sure our servers can handle our load. We're ramping up our game very consistently in terms of its player base size, and we want to make sure that we're doing it responsibly and make sure that our servers can handle that load. We don't want a scenario where people try to play the game and they can't because the servers are overloaded, as I'm sure you've seen with some other launches in the video game history. So basically, as we gain increased confidence in our server stability and our online support staff ramps up, we will be increasing those beta windows accordingly. So we will eventually be 24/7 as soon as we are ready for that. Question, will Tier 4 bindings will respawn? Will this affect the timers for other bindings respawning? Yes, Tier 4 bindings will respawn. Currently they have a 5-minute respawn timer, and this has impacted other bindings respawn timers such that they basically all gone up a little bit. Right now, the outermost bindings are 15-minute respawn, and the innermost Tier 4 bindings are a 5-minute respawn. So you can kind of interpolate those values. Question, will the Guardian still attack while the Tier 4 bindings are live in front of him? Yes, they will. So the Tier 4 bindings cause a pretty severe pressuring of the Guardian. So right now, they are very well defended. The Tier 4 bindings are both in range of the Tier 4 binding itself, the other Tier 4 binding, and the Guardian. So all three elements serve to help protect the Tier 4 binding, making them difficult to take down in comparison to other bindings. However, when you do take them down, it is very impactful. Okay. So, question. Is the art on the Range Strider done? Can we see it? Nope. It is not done. So, and as a result, we have nothing to show you on that towards that goal. The reason why we have nothing to show there is because this is very, very early in development, and that's the way that we are testing the map currently. However, we have not locked down that the Range Strider is for sure what we want to do with the Tier 4 binding. Is simply one of the ways that we are experimenting with it currently. Question, can you please show / buy items? The character is fairly rich at the moment. So the item system in Dange is a little bit different. The current build we're playing on right now does not have the itemization rework we've been talking about in the past, so there's nothing new to show you guys in terms of items right now. The items in the current build are the same as the ones on live currently. However, the itemization rework will probably come along lines roughly, a little bit before the new map, but not too far out either. Question, what is the level cap? The level cap is 20, so you can see Dale is maximum level right now. The reason for that is you get 5 ranks of your abilities, 3 ranks of your ultimate, just like you'd expect. In addition, you can pick up a spell at levels 1, 10, and 20. Spells are like activated items. There are no activated items in Dange. Instead, all the activatables are placed into the spell system so that we can divorce the effect from the stats themselves. This allows for anybody to get an interesting effect based on the situation at hand, as opposed to it being linked to a stat. So basically all the things you would expect on activated items we have, and we are interested in supporting that gameplay. We're just doing it in the spell system instead of in the active item system. Can you attack both Tier 4 bindings at once the Tier 3 bindings gets destroyed? The Tier 4 bindings currently are invulnerable based on their lane bindings. So you have to destroy all bindings to destroy all tier 4 bindings. However, if you destroy bindings only in a single lane, then that lane's tier 4 binding can be destroyed. Have you guys thought about different game modes in the future? We are open to different game modes. However, we are not working on them currently. It's something that we are interested in doing in the future. But right now, our focus is on making this map and this game mode as good as it can be. I mean, we're in very early closed beta, so we're focusing entirely on this. And then once this feels really, really good, then we'll probably expand into other game modes. Okay, so I just got here. Somebody explain why there's no floor texture. The reason why it's no floor texture is because what we're showing you is we're showing you an internal iteration of our current map. So the map on live beta right now is fully arted and has textures where you would expect them. What we're doing right now is we're kind of giving the community a look at what we're looking to do internally. So what you're seeing is very, very early in development, which is why the art is not done. This is something that some changes to the map layout and some of the systemic changes to the game. We wanted to start talking about them very early, even though they're not done before. So that's why there's no art on the map. By the time this launches, there will definitely be art on the map.
Yes, it will not look like this.
Question, where can I register my beta key? Pluto will put in the chat where you can register your beta key. It should just be at waystonegames.com. Question, will there be different skins for characters? We're not talking about our monetization yet, but we will be very shortly. We can say that the game will absolutely be free to play. There will not be any pay to win, and what I mean by that is that we will not have anything that influences gameplay power be purchased with real money. So we are vehemently against pay to win. The game will be definitely free to play. Question, timeline for map release. I don't have a definitive timeline for you guys because this is something that we want to make sure that we take our time with and do correctly, where basically it'll be launched when it's ready. Definitely at least a month away, so not immediate. Are you hiring content designers? We're currently not hiring any designers. However, we do have some open requisitions. I believe that we tweeted about them not too long ago, so make sure you follow us on Twitter at TheDawnGate to have information about that. How does the support role play out? Is it more of a lane support akin to LoL, or more of a playmaking and ganking support akin to Dota, or something else altogether? How does the support role make money? So supports are actually very unique in Dawngate. Like I said before, Dawngate has something in character selection where you select the role of your character. What role you select changes the way your character earns money. So one of the roles gives a increasing stacking reward for every last hit you get without missing any. So increasing, basically if you really want to focus on last hitting, you can gain a bunch of money that way. Another role basically says you gain money in proximity when a minion dies. In addition, you gain tons of money for harassing characters. That's the tactician role, and it's commonly used by supports. Now the tactician, all roles in Dawngate can earn roughly the same amount of money if they're played well. So somebody who's playing Tactician very, very well as a support can earn just as much money as a carry. So this means that supports in Dawngate earn full 6-item builds worth of money. Basically, that allows for supports to keep their itemization up very, very competitively and allows them to be pretty severe playmakers. I have a beta key. I'm downloading the game right now. When can I play? You can play Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're on 3 days a week right now. And apparently I'm just informed that we have an announcement about that at the end of the stream. So stay tuned about announcement regarding gameplay windows. You have to destroy both tier 4 bindings to attack the Guardian. You have to destroy both tier 4 bindings to attack the Guardian, I believe, yes. Or it's just one.
I don't think so. I think it's just one.
Just one binding must be destroyed to attack the Guardian. You heard it here first. Can you explain the gameplay differences as a 2-lane setup brings over a normal 3-lane setup? Absolutely. So the reason why we went with 2 lanes in Dawngate is basically to encourage a variety of different team compositions and game metas. Two lanes allows for the most diverse amount of gameplay kind of meta setups. So we have tri-lanes, we have 2 solo lanes with 2 jungle, you know, 2 junglers and a predator, which is a role which is basically focuses on counter gankling and jungling. We've seen, you know, 2 duo lanes and a jungler. We've seen a solo lane, a duo lane, and 2 junglers. There's a lot of different team compositions, and the role system allows for all of them to be economically equivalent in terms of efficiency. So that's why we went for a 2-lane map, basically to encourage lots of different diverse team compositions. How will the increased size affect map vision? Will 5 wards be enough to allow for solid counterplay, or will it be very easy to get around? If you look at the mini-map, I know it's a little bit hard to see, but basically we've adjusted the jungle routes themselves to not only be more efficient in terms of routing, but also with warding in mind. 5 wards will be enough to allow for you to be relatively safe, but not completely stop entrance into your jungle across the entire map. If you want to really secure a single lane or a single jungle quadrant, you can do that, but you have to work with your team to do that, as opposed to being able to do it all the time. So you can basically entirely make a single lane or single side of the map safe, but it's going to make the other side a little bit more exposed, or vice versa.
Oh no.
Time? Alright, so we are out of time for Q&A, which I apologize for. We're going to be dropping a multi-use key really soon. I'll have our community manager, Andy, come over here to do that for you guys, since I don't know how to do it, because I'm a big scrub. If you guys are continued interest in asking questions about the map rework, please post, forum posts about it, post on Reddit about it. Dale and myself will both be watching those 2 sources very closely, and we'd be happy to talk about what you saw on the stream today in more detail. Otherwise, if you're new to Dawnggate or new to the stream, good luck getting a key with the multi-use key that's about to come out. I encourage you guys to play the game, try it out for yourself, give us your feedback, and enjoy yourselves. So without further ado, I will hand it off here. Thanks for watching, guys, and good luck with the incoming multi-use key.
Alrighty, hey chat, hello everybody out there in Twitch TV land, and thanks for tuning in today. By the way, lots of people. Woo! It's scary. It's awesome though. We're really happy to see so many people hanging out in the chat and everything. So, just a reminder. So there's a couple of announcements I'm going to make really quickly, and then we're going to give away a 500 use key, beta key. It'll be in the video. So while I'm making this first announcement, I want everybody to go to waystonegames.com and register for a beta account if you haven't already, just so that you are ready to redeem the key as soon as I put it into the video. So there's a 500 uses on that, guys. We have about 2,500 people in the chat, so you've got a 1 in 5 chance of being one of those people. I'm sorry? You have what? 20% chance? Yeah, I think that's a pretty good odds. 20%. That's pretty good. Math is hard. I actually didn't get the Asian gene for math. So, the first announcement I'm going to make is that we are officially expanding our beta window to include Sunday. So that means that we are going to be on Thursday from 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's 6 p.m. Central European Summer Time until midnight Pacific time. That's 9 a.m. Central European Summer Time. And then from Friday all the way through to Sunday at midnight. So that is 72 hours straight of the Dawnggate. You get to play the game and have fun with that. So enjoy that, folks. Math is hard. It's totally hard. That's why I'm not a game designer. That, and I'm not creative at all. Alrighty, Sunday. Wish this would be available for Steam instead of Origin. So we actually do not use the Origin client, just so that everybody is aware of that. We use the Origin account system simply because it's built and it works. So this allows us to focus our development time to other places, but we have our own standalone client that we use. So you will be prompted to download the client from our website, not through Origin. So make sure that you're aware of that as well. I did see tons of questions in the stream about how is Dawnggate different from other MOBAs. What I would recommend is this: stick around. Tune in tomorrow. We go live at noon. We'll be streaming until about 6 p.m. And then stick around on Friday, same thing, noon to 6. And then, generally speaking, we'll stream throughout the weekends. We are going to try to avoid streaming during LCS times, just because we don't want to step on those toes, and because hey, we want to watch LCS too, right? We're big MOBA fans ourselves here in the studio. So, but we stream constantly. We're constantly giving away beta keys, and we're answering all these questions that you're asking a lot. Also, don't forget to look straight down. There's an FAQ down there as well. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get out that big old 500 juice beta key. And we're going to give that away here in the stream today and give you guys a chance to play the game mañana. I know we're all very excited about that. So let me see here. All right, guys. So the way it works is it will be in the video stream above my head, right here. And you guys will enter it at the Waystone Games site, where hopefully you've already made your account. So is everybody ready? By the way, in case I didn't introduce myself, my name is Andy Belford. I am the community manager. The gentleman you see, the ginger gentleman you see behind me over here, right there. Oh, look at that, right in the nose. That is Brad Pluto Ramey. He is the assistant community manager here at Waystone Games. If you are tuning in for the first time, get used to seeing our faces because you're going to see us on stream a lot. You also see this guy right there, who you see the back of his head right now. He's wearing the blue shirt, but when he turns around, he's quite the dapper young man. He's got a swooping haircut. That's Scott Zyril SC Moore. He also likes to stream for us a lot on the weekends. There you go. That's right, Scott Zyril SC Moore, the worst feeder on our team. Just kidding. He's the best. He's the best around. He's the best feeder. All right, guys. So here we go. Ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beta key right. Meow. There we go, guys. Whoop. Good luck, everybody. Get that beta key. Get that beta key. So I'm guessing it'll be gone within the first 45 seconds. Who do I think is going to win Worlds? I think it's going to be between Najin Blacksword and SKT. I think they could meet in the semis, right? SKT and Najin. They're playing each other in semis. So whoever wins that match is going to be the winner. So no faith in Fnatic. Sorry. Royal Club. I don't think Royal Club can beat either of them, to be honest with you. Fnatic gonna win. Much love to my European friends. Like, don't get me wrong, Fnatic's got some of them next level strats, but I think it's going to be whoever wins that match I said between Najin and SKT. So we'll see. Made in Quebec, that's a really good point. So if you do get into the beta, I want you to pay attention to this very closely. We are a beta community. You need to go into the game expecting that people are going to be new, that they're not going to know how to play the game, and that they're going to derp around for a little bit. What you need to do is prepare yourself for that. You need to be patient, you need to be understanding, and you need to be offering to help rather than tearing each other down. If we get wind that you're that kind of a person, we'll review it, and if you're really toxic, we will remove you from the beta. Guys, we're building a game together, and we need for positivity to kind of rule the day in that. So help each other out, lift each other up. Let's make a good game together. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Steak is secretly Skara. Hey, somebody else got called Skara instead of me. Thumbs up. What does the fox say? What? So those Godly Renekton plays last night? That was insane. Underwater Bunny, I hate to break it to you, but I think TSM might be out. I still haven't seen... Is that Curse Pluto in the background? No, that's Waystone Pluto in the background. Alrighty. Where do I go to use the code? Go to waystonegames.com. What is Dawngate? Dawngate is a brand new MOBA and it's developed by us, Waystone Games. M9ABSOL. I'm on a Mac. Will I be able to play Roadblock? Only if you're boot camping right now. We do not have a Mac OS. We do not have an OS version, OS X version yet. If there's enough demand for it, I mean, down the road, I could see us doing something like that. But for right now, we are focused solely on PC. Are the forums all okay again? As far as I know, the forums are okay, actually, at this point. You should be able to log in. As well, are you going to be at Staples for Worlds? Yes, I will be at Staples for Worlds. Is there a career section for Waystone Games for someone looking for a career in gaming? We do our hiring through our publisher, Electronic Arts. However, we also do like tweet out links to any jobs that we're currently hiring for. So, right. In fact, we actually just tweeted out a link to the QA analyst position that we're hiring for. That is at the Dawngate is our Twitter handle. So please. Can you please repeat how I win a Hearthstone beta key? I don't know. I got mine already. Just saying. One day of playing the damn game, I've already spent $20. Something wrong with that. Does the Steam OS announcement have any impact over at Waystone Games? Not really. We're not on the Steam platform. As far as like from a business standpoint, from a personal standpoint, we think it's really cool. We think it's really cool, actually. We're big fans of Valve and what they do, and we're all watching kind of on bated breath. And I will say that it looks like I'm just gonna call it right now. Half-Life 3 confirmed. Just saying. Is there an NDA involved? Are you allowed to stream? No NDA, or at least not one that we really enforce. You're allowed to stream, make videos, write guides, do whatever you like. We encourage our community to share our game. Bomb, 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 bomb. Where are my seats? I don't remember what section. They're good seats, though. Have I been playing GTA 5? Yes, I have. It's been awesome. All right, guys. Is the key still good, or can we go to lunch yet? Is it still good? The server will be up tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific. 9 a.m. Pacific. Is there a Meepo-like character, or will there be one? Cyclam, there is not yet a micro-based character. However, if Gasty has his way, there will be one because he loves Meepo. He loves micro. Like, his favorite thing in the world is Zerg, even though he plays Protoss. So, he likes the micro. When can I visit the office? That's who? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Right on. It's Reggie. Reggie? Really? Reggie? You don't even look like Reggie.
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Who's the tall, dark, and handsome guy behind you? I'm guessing they're talking about you. Yes.
I'm not tall, though. I think I'm shorter than Andy. So. Am I short? Yeah, I am shorter.
Maybe they're calling me tall.
But you're not dark.
I am not dark. I'm pale white. I need to get in the sun more.
Scar and Reginald on the same team. Oh my god.
I need to like put up the. Do I need to put up the picture of me and Scar again just to prove that I'm not the same person? All right, guys. Is the key still good? Have anybody tried to use the key that can confirm if the key is good or not? Key is still good. Still good. All right, guys.
Reggie with eyebrows.
Reggie with eyebrows. Is that what they're calling you?
Yeah,
Nice.
apparently.
Nice. Oh no, not Twitter. I want Twitch. Well. Bum, 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 bum. I don't know.
So it's me, you, and glasses in combination, I guess.
It could be. It could be any number of those things. All right, guys. So give us a 5,000 use key. Wait. Still 2,000 people watching. Hey, guys.
There's a what?
Still over 2,000 people watching right now. What about the server times I was saying? The server times were up tomorrow, normal times, 12 to 9. 9 to 12. And then we are up Friday through Sunday. Do I think that League will die? Hey, somebody recognized you as being Pinoy.
Huh?
Oh.
Where?
Oh, no. That Filipino guy.
Yeah!
And it's not Filipino, I'm sorry. That Filipino guy. Eh? The fuck is your problem, man? Hoy! Anyway, sorry. I'm not even Pinoy.
All about the Mineski.
It is all about the Mineski. All right. The servers will be up on Sunday, yes. All right, guys. Well, I tell you what, I am going to go ahead and shut the stream off. I'm sure that this beta key has made its way to the subreddit. By the way, make sure that you subscribe to the Dawngate subreddit. It is reddit.com/r/Dawngate. Follow us on Twitter @the Dawngate. Like us on Facebook. The Dawn Gate, Facebook.com/The Dawn Gate, and follow the channel here. I mean, you should totally follow the channel here. You get an email notification every time we go live. If you didn't get a beta key today, you have the opportunity to get a beta key almost every time we go live, and you can watch the game being played and ask all the questions you want of either the community or the development team. So thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. I'm going to go get some lunch because it's 10 after 12 and it's time for the lunch. But we'll have the VOD up of this later on today. So again, thank you from all of us here at Waystone Games, and we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.